Hey guys, it's John. I wanted to make another video today, and this one is about the most powerful form of a lie, being the lie of omission. Um, I'm sure everybody has had an opportunity at least once or twice in their life where, you were in a relationship with someone, whether they be friends or some sort of intimate relationship, and this person um, wound up telling you a story. They told you a lot of truth in this story, but what they wound up doing was leaving out something that was extremely important. So I'll give you a little scenario here. There's Alice and Bob, and Alice and Bob, they're in a relationship, and Alice doesn't like that Bob sometimes gets into trouble drinking. And so he's committed to Alice that, you know what, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to get in trouble like that, and I'm not going to drink. And, Bob is in sales, and he tells Alice, hey, there's this really awesome conference that's coming up in Las Vegas, and I'm going to be going there, and I'm going to stay for like 3 days. I'm going to meet up with a couple of customers and some prospective clients, and, there's going to be awesome amenities at this place, and there's a pool, and all these wonderful things, right? But the one thing that Bob is leaving out is that this event is actually for alcohol distributors, and it's sponsored by AB InBev. Now, I'm not picking on Anheuser-Busch, but I'm just saying that the thing that is the most important that Alice probably wants to know is the one thing that he's leaving out. He's omitting that truth. He's not telling her that. And so, did he tell her a lot of truth? Yes, but it was that one little thing, right, that really, really mattered. A second example might be that, your very first time experiencing a credit card, you see the fact that there's like credit cards, and you see that people can use them. There's even different types of cards, and all of these cards do come with a fine print. You've heard the devil is in the details. And so when you look at this fine print, you start to understand what the annual percentage rate is. You start to see that a small balance of $1,000 can grow to be a much larger number when you just pay the minimal amount, right? That minimal amount will sometimes, it tells you in years how many years it will take you to pay this off if you just pay the minimum amount. Those details are the reason why there are debt consolidation services. It's the reason why banks will just let you rack up as much money as they can possibly get off of you, because really what they want to do is charge interest. But that little detail, that little piece that you decided not to dig into, that was the thing that was going to destroy you financially, right? So when I think about the lie of omission, I think about how easy it is for someone to tell you a lot of truth, but then leave out one very important thing, which, had you known that one thing, it would have saved you a lot of pain, right? Yes, there was a learning experience, but you don't always have to have a learning experience over and over and over again. So in that same vein of the lie of omission, I've often thought about the short season of Satan. This time in Revelation 20, verse 7 through 10, where it talks about Satan having a time to be able to deceive all the nations on earth. And every time that I've gone to church, and every time that I've watched a video, regardless of what eschatological teaching it is, no one ever talks about the short season of Satan. So just think about that for a second. It's a false dichotomy where I'm giving you 2 options, or 3 options, or 4 options, but none of them might actually be the right one. And maybe, just maybe, the father of lies, as Satan is called, maybe the lie of omission is just one of the easiest ones that he knows of. The last thing that I'd like to just mention on this is everybody's watched a movie, Everybody's read a book. And you've either watched an advertisement about this movie, or it's been recommended that you should read this book. But normally people give you a very small amount. They just tell you a little bit about it, so that way you can experience it and interpret it your own way. Now, I just want you to think about the Bible for a second. Before you actually had the chance to read it, most people, I'm sure there's some people who have read it on their own, but how many people read that on their own prior to going to church and someone telling you what this means? And someone giving you their opinion before you're able to form your own. So I often think about the way that people learn about the Bible. And it's one of the only things that exists that I can think of where you can every Sunday go for years to be told what you should believe. And yet you maybe never read it on your own. I'm not saying that I know all the answers and that I'm completely right, but with great humility, I know that I have been fooled before in my life. Could it very well be that we all live in a time where we're all being deceived, that we're all under a massive deception? And have you taken the time to read it on your own? Because sometimes if you don't read, like Jesus says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, it's really, really easy for you to fall into the trap of the false dichotomy where you pick one of the choices, you pick one of the truths, yet none of them are true. I hope you just pick up your Bible and read it. Go to Matthew and listen to what he's saying to the people that he's talking to about the things that should happen. You know, I remember one time hearing about this generation shall not pass. And then I thought about Noah being the only one who was perfect in his generation. That generation is not our generation. There are certain generations that they are talking to in the Bible. The Bible may not necessarily be written to us, but it's for us. Somebody lives during the time of great tribulation, and someone, a generation, is going to live through Satan's full-on deception and his ordained time to fool the world. I hope that you just think on this for a little bit. Think about the lie of omission. Think about all the times in your life that you have experienced the lie of omission. And then just think, could this be what I'm dealing with now? Go read the Bible. God bless.